Hey everybody, it's great to have you here with us. Many have talked about the importance of courage, of showing up, of daring greatly, especially when it feels difficult. But there's something fundamental to that conversation that those many haven't fully explored, and that's fear. Fear is a part of life. It's hardwired into us. It can be a powerful force, holding us back from the very things that would bring us joy, purpose, and a sense of belonging. What if we could change our relationship with fear? What if we could learn to understand it, work with it, and even transform it into a catalyst for growth? That's what we're going to explore today. Fear, at its core, is a survival mechanism. For our ancestors, fear was a lifesaver. It kept them alert to danger, prompting them to fight, flee, or freeze in the face of a threat. While most of us aren't facing saber-toothed tigers, that ancient wiring still lives within us. When we feel that flutter in our chest before a big presentation or that knot in our stomach before a difficult conversation, that's our fear response kicking in. It's trying to protect us, to keep us safe. But the world has changed. The threats we face today are often more nuanced, more psychological than physical. That old fear response, while well-intentioned, can sometimes do more harm than good, keeping us stuck in patterns of avoidance and inaction. Before we can think about overcoming fear, it's crucial to understand where it's coming from. What are the root causes of the fear holding you back? For some, it might be the fear of failure. That belief that we're not good enough, smart enough, or talented enough to succeed. This fear can manifest in many ways, from procrastination to perfectionism to outright avoidance of anything challenging. Others might struggle with the fear of rejection, that vulnerability hangover from risking criticism, judgment, or disapproval. One of the most transformative things that we can learn is that how we view fear can dramatically impact how it affects us. If we see fear as an enemy, it becomes a looming, powerful force in our lives. But what if we leaned into it with curiosity and compassion? What if we asked, what is this fear trying to teach me? What message is it trying to convey? When we reframe fear as a messenger, we can begin to relate to it in a whole new way. We're starting to understand our fear, to see it through a more compassionate lens, but how do we move through it? The answer lies in the power of gradual exposure. It's about taking small, manageable steps outside of our comfort zones, building our tolerance for discomfort, and proving to ourselves that we are capable of handling more than we thought possible. Imagine you have a fear of public speaking. Instead of signing up for a TED Talk right away, start smaller. Share an idea in a team meeting or practice your presentation in front of a trusted friend. Each small act of courage chips away at the power that fear holds over us. Let's talk about resilience for a minute. Life is messy and unpredictable. When we're talking about overcoming fear and embracing change, resilience is our superpower. It's the ability to bounce back from setbacks, navigate challenges, and come out stronger, wiser, and more courageous. How do we cultivate this resilience muscle? It starts with self-awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, especially in the face of adversity. Notice those negative self-talk tapes and challenge them with more supportive, empowering thoughts. We can't talk about overcoming fear without talking about self-confidence. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's not a magical state where we feel invincible. True confidence comes from a deep sense of self-worth, a belief that we are worthy of love and belonging regardless of our accomplishments or mistakes. This kind of confidence is not something we're born with. It's something we cultivate through our choices and actions. How do we build this unshakable self-confidence? It starts with self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness, care, and understanding that you would offer to a dear friend. Connection has a profound impact on our ability to overcome fear and navigate change. We are wired for connection. It's as essential to our well-being as food, water, and shelter. When we feel connected, we're more resilient, more courageous, and more capable of handling whatever life throws our way. But vulnerability is the birthplace of connection. It's the willingness to let ourselves be seen, truly seen, with all of our imperfections. And that can be terrifying because it opens us up to the risk of hurt, rejection, and disappointment. But vulnerability is not weakness. It's about showing up authentically, with boundaries and courage, knowing that we are enough. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open our hearts to the possibility of connection. Connection gives us a sense of belonging, which is crucial for our self-esteem and motivation. When we feel like we are part of something greater, we are more likely to thrive. Talking about fear, change, vulnerability, and courage can feel overwhelming. That's why it's essential to discuss mindfulness and stress reduction. When we're feeling overwhelmed, it's difficult to access our courage and resilience. Mindfulness is about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about noticing our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations with curiosity and acceptance. There are many ways to practice mindfulness, from meditation to yoga to simply taking a few deep breaths. Change is often the catalyst for fear. It disrupts our routines and forces us to confront the unknown. But what if we learned to embrace change? What if we saw it as an opportunity for growth and creating a life aligned with our values and dreams? Change is inevitable. It's going to happen, whether we like it or not. The question is, how do we want to show up for it? Do we want to meet it with fear and resistance or with curiosity and courage? The choice is ours. One of my favorite quotes is by Theodore Roosevelt. "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly." That, my friends, is what it means to dare greatly. It's about having the courage to show up, even when we're afraid. As we near the end of our journey, remember, fear is not the enemy. It's a natural human emotion, a part of what makes us alive. What's powerful is learning to harness that fear, to use it as fuel to step into our bravest, most authentic selves. Imagine standing at the edge of a diving board. You can feel the fear coursing through your body. In that moment, you have a choice. You can let the fear paralyze you, or you can take a deep breath, acknowledge the fear, and jump. It's in that jump, in that act of courage, that the magic happens. When we choose courage over comfort, when we dare to be vulnerable, we truly come alive. As we wrap up, remember that this journey of overcoming fear and embracing change is not a destination. It's a practice we cultivate day by day through our choices and actions. Here are 6 key takeaways for what we have covered. The first, fear is normal but can be managed and used as a tool for growth. The second is action diminishes fear. Taking small steps toward change reduces its power over time. The third is growth comes from discomfort. The more you embrace change, the more resilient and adaptable you become. The fourth is, fear is often irrational. Challenge your fears with facts and a mindset of empowerment. The fifth, you are capable of handling more than you think. Confidence grows as you face fear head-on. And the last one is, change is an inevitable part of life, and embracing it can lead to greater fulfillment and success. So go out there and be brave. Embrace the unknown. For access to professional life coaching support, please click on the link in the description. As always, please like and subscribe and never stop believing in your capacity for growth, resilience, and extraordinary courage.